Tonight on Cronkite News, an effort to mitigate the excessive heat in Arizona communities.
Plus, a gathering at the state capitol today aimed at raising funding for some of the littlest victims of cancer.
And the mysterious disappearance of the Footprint Center sign at the Suns Arena. What you need to know. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Max Williams.
And I'm Ripley Simone Kennebrew. Thank you for joining us.
Pediatric cancer is the leading cause of death for children in the country, yet it receives insufficient funding for research. Cronkite News reporter Brandon Muth explains how a state representative is working to change this.
That's right, Max. Earlier today, State Representative Walt Blackman said he has a message to save children's lives.
Not only for us to honor our sweet angel Axel, but for this awful, terrible disease that no child or no family should ever have to go through. To get the awareness and advocacy that is so desperately needed, because it all begins with that, awareness.
That was Heather Heineke, a mother who lost her child, Axel Rockwell Alcantar, last year to alveolar rhabdomyosarcoma, a form of pediatric cancer that remains severely underfunded and under-researched. According to the National Cancer Institute, pediatric cancer is the leading cause of death by disease for children in the United States. Yet, it receives less than 4% of government-allocated cancer research funding.
And so we're left with using adult cancer drugs in off-label ways, and we really struggle to, particularly as we move along and we are successful with some children but then have their cancer return, we don't have these new innovative drugs to make their care better.
State Representative Walt Blackman is calling for bipartisan efforts to aid pediatric cancer research to receive more funding in Arizona.
I am going to encourage the members here at the Arizona House of Representatives and the Senate to actually get more involved in this. And you will see that as we go forward.
Today is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Day in Arizona, and Representative Blackman's hope is for Democrats and Republicans to get more involved and work together to find funding to support cancer research. In the newsroom, Brandon Muth, Cronkite News.
Thanks, Brandon. The Trump administration has announced that U.S. Attorney General for the District of Arizona, Gary Restano, has been relieved from his duties. He was appointed by former President Joe Biden in 2021, and as a presidential appointment, Restano can be removed by the sitting president. During his tenure, he temporarily served as a director of the ATF Bureau. The Department of Justice has not named Restano's successor at this time.
Now to California and a new law aimed at cracking down on crime. Cronkite News reporter Zach Bradshaw breaks down new efforts in the city of Los Angeles that aim to reduce the issue of theft.
Los Angeles is no stranger to crime, but a new proposition that took effect in January is designed to address theft and burglary.
This store y'all standing in front of, literally, like, they're always chasing people out of here. Like, theft is high in California.
And shop owners, customers, and locals are feeling the effects.
The thieves to do whatever they want, you know. Like they wouldn't get arrested if they steal less than $900. So they would come and grab and grab.
In recent months, Shirazi has seen numerous robberies in stores nearby, which he says puts a strain on local business owners and their insurance policies.
Most of the insurances, they won't cover us if we get robbed like a couple times. You know, they want to be on the safe side, so they don't cover.
Despite reports that California burglaries and theft are gradually reducing, locals like Carter are still feeling the strain.
I mean, they need to do something about it because what they're doing right now is not working.
In response, a new statewide solution was introduced to voters. Proposition 36 was overwhelmingly voted into law by California voters in the fall election. And even though it was opposed by Governor Gavin Newsom, many citizens and local law enforcement say it'll toughen the state's stance on burglaries and retail theft.
What Proposition 36 says is that if you've been convicted not once, not twice, but now 3 times for stealing just under $950, that the third time now it could be felony eligible.
The goal is to protect small businesses by adding more punitive measures for theft and retail crime, which officials say is especially important because California had the highest number of burglary crimes of any state in 2023.
I think it's a way of telling the businesses that we're going to do our jobs, that we're going to support you. Our job is to make sure that that's done without the small business getting ripped off or getting stolen from.
With the California law now in the books, only time will tell if Prop 36 will ease the issue of theft and burglary. In Los Angeles, Zach Bradshaw, Cronkite News.
San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan said yesterday Prop 36 has been very effective in charging criminals with theft crimes, and he looks forward to seeing the bill's impact in other cities statewide.
The price of eggs in America has continued to rise. Cronkite News reporter Ariel Nelson spoke with a local restaurant owner about its effects on their business.
According to the National Consumer Price Index, the cost of eggs increased by 138% between January 2024 and January 2025. This is partially attributed to the outbreak of the highly pathogenic avian influenza, which has caused an imbalance in the number of chickens and the demand of eggs. Breakfast restaurant owners like John Stidham are reluctant to raise prices of their food. But because the avian flu has caused egg suppliers to increase their costs, he had to as well.
Usually avian flu in the past has been for like a month and a half. So you absorb the price, you can absorb that and not raise your prices. But now it's predicted it's going to go on for a long time. Most breakfast restaurants have to raise prices some way. Some are charging a surcharge. I won't do that. But we're raising our price about 35 cents a dish, 40 cents a dish, which helps out. It doesn't cover the whole thing, not trying to cover the whole thing, just trying to be, remember we're in the hospitality business, not just a food business, so we're trying to just cover some of that cost.
According to the USDA, the prices of eggs are not expected to decrease for the foreseeable future. In the newsroom, Ariel Nelson, Cronkite News.
Coming up next, a look at the news headlines from across the nation and across the globe,
including the latest on the plane that flipped over in Toronto. After the break, what investigators are saying about the crash today, and hear from a survivor.
And the valley is heating up, and I'll tell you how warm it's getting. I'll have your full forecast in a few minutes.
Today, U.S. diplomats spoke with diplomats from Russia on how to end the war in Ukraine. However, the talks did not include officials from Ukraine. Because of that, Ukrainian President Zelensky is meeting with officials in Turkey in order to strengthen the support between the two countries. When asked about the negotiation process, Secretary of State Marco Rubio had this to say.
Today is the first step of a long and difficult journey, but an important one. And President Trump is committed to bringing an end to this conflict. He wants it to end in a way that's fair. He wants it to end in a way that's sustainable and enduring, not that leads to another conflict in 2 to 3 years. That's not going to be easy to achieve, but he's the only one in the world that can begin that process.
Zelensky has said Ukraine will not sign any agreement that does not involve Kyiv.
Investigators are now looking into another devastating plane crash, this time in Toronto late yesterday. A Delta flight from Minneapolis had to make a crash landing and flipped upside down. All 80 passengers and crew survived the crash landing, with a handful sustaining injuries, some critical. The plane flipped upside down during landing, which occurred on a snowy runway. Here's what a survivor of the crash had to say.
A very human component turned on when we could smell the gas, and then we looked over and the windows were there was just liquid pouring over the small windows, and suddenly it smelled very strong of what I heard people later call AV gas.
The FAA will assist investigators in Canada to determine just what happened.
The Vatican has announced that Pope Francis will remain in the hospital for longer than expected. The 88-year-old was admitted to a hospital in Rome last week to be treated for bronchitis. The Vatican reported the Pope was in stable condition over the weekend, but on Monday announced he was dealing with pneumonia.
And a 3-year project led by Arizona State University attempts to mitigate excessive heat in Metro Phoenix communities. Cronkite News reporter Brandon Muth has more details on how the ASU-led initiative is working directly with Valley residents.
Paid learners are hard at work, learning the fundamentals of proper tree care at the Spaces of Opportunity in South Phoenix. At the 19-acre property, students enrolled in paid learning opportunity workshops gain insight on the social, economic, and environmental importance of trees within Arizona communities.
By me learning the skills, I can teach others. So it's like the each one teach one. I learn it, I teach it to someone else.
This workshop is only one of many offered by Urban Nature, a multi-year project led by the ASU Walton Sustainability Solutions Service. According to Walton, the project received a $5 million grant by the USDA Forest Service. The project centers on working with residents in the hottest neighborhoods in Metro Phoenix that require trees to combat the excessive heat. Planting trees in designated areas of these communities, the project believes these trees will provide much-needed shade for these residents.
With ASU's Accelerator Initiative looking to plant over 27,000 trees within the next 3 to 5 years, it starts with one tree at a time.
Jen Clifton, the project lead for Urban Nature, understands that communities that are most affected are often underserved and the least invested.
These are all folks who are more vulnerable to heat, and so as we're talking with residents and making the tree action plans, we're trying to pay special attention to folks in these neighborhoods who are more vulnerable.
Besides Spaces of Opportunity, Unlimited Potential and Bartlett Tree Experts is another community industry partnership with Urban Nature. Their primary focus revolves around offering paid internships in Spanish and English for people interested in green jobs related to tree care, tree climbing, and tree maintenance. Individuals like Jose Luis Bernal, who inspires to be an arborist, benefits from these workshops.
This program is really a good base to start learning the career, how to do things safely and efficiently, and most importantly, what's best for the environment and for the tree itself.
Through neighborhood workshops, paid learning opportunities, and internships, Urban Nature intends to engage residents of communities to plan and expand urban tree canopy, providing shade within their own homes.
It's going to change, the environment around your house, and if you do that with all houses, you change the environment in your neighborhood.
In Phoenix, Brandon Muth, Cronkite News.
Thanks so much, Brandon. Speaking of excessive heat, it appears the valley's gonna start warming up.
That's right, Max. Quentin joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with what we can expect.
Thanks so much, guys. And yes, we do have some abnormal weather heading on the horizon to the valley, especially for this point of the year. Now, first things first, you already know what it is. It's the evening planner. What is tonight going to look like? Well, right now it's 72 degrees, and as the night progresses, it's going to dip down right there at 64 degrees. That'll be our lowest at 10, which will be relatively favorable for those stargazers. Now, looking low tomorrow morning, and I'm not talking about direction, our lows for the state is going to be 22 in Grand Canyon, and over here in Window Rock, 22 as well. So to stay in that 22 to high 30-degree range. Now, central Arizona, what's it looking like? 50 here in Phoenix, and over there, 53 in Lake Havasu and 50 in Bullhead City. 40 degrees in Globe, that's an anomaly. Well, now Arizona sizzling up on the stove a little bit. Let's not get too crazy. 81 for Yuma and 80 in Gila Bend. The state's starting to sizzle up a little bit. And now the southern cities are heading that direction, guns blazing as well. But what is Arizona going to look like heading into next week? Well, I'll tell you, Wednesday, cloudy and 79. And as the clouds wither away, this state's going to get hot. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, this weekend, heading into next week, the sun's going to be blazing, 88 degrees. And ladies and gentlemen, the state of Arizona, I hope you're ready. We are projected to hit 90 degrees for the first time this year next week. From the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Quentin Presley, sending it back to the desk.
Thanks, Quentin. Tonight's sports report is coming up next.
And we'll have the latest on the multi-million-dollar extension for D-back shortstop Geraldo Perdomo. Plus, ASU women's flag football continues to grow in popularity. We'll take a look at the sisters who helped pave the way for the game.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Renato Garcia. If you've been in downtown Phoenix today, you might have noticed something missing from the Footprint Center. The signage located on the roof of the Suns Arena has been removed. Cronkite News reporter Ben Paris joins us now from our Sports Bureau for more on this developing story.
That's right, Hanara. I confirmed with a Steam's spokesperson this afternoon that the 18,000-seat arena will now go by the name PHX Arena and that the search for a new naming rights partner will begin immediately. Footprint, which obtained the rights to the arena during the NBA Finals in 2021, will still remain as the official sustainability partner of the Suns and Mercury, but its name has come off the building that is set to host the 2026 NCAA Women's Final Four and the 2027 NBA All-Star Weekend. The team said that there is no timeline at this point on when to expect a new name to go up on the arena. Once the deal is made for a new name, it will become the 5th title sponsor of the Suns Arena, which opened in 1992. From the Sports Bureau, Ben Paris, Cronkite News.
Thanks, Ben. Turning to the collegiate landscape, the Arizona Wildcats snapped a 2-game losing streak last night in Waco, Texas, as they beat Baylor 74-67. With the win, the Wildcats completed their regular season sweep of the Bears in their inaugural Big 12 season. Arizona forward Toby Awaka led the way with a 14-12 double-double as the Wildcats' leading scorer on the night. The Wildcats are looking to add more wins in the win column after dropping 2 games last week, one of which was to Big 12 rival and number 6, Houston. Those losses dropped Arizona 6 spots in Monday's AP poll to put them at number 19. With only 5 games left in the season, the Cats hope to finish out strong. Women's flag football has become a hugely popular sport around the country, with numbers continuing to soar each year at both the youth and high school level. 2 sisters at ASU helped pave the way for women aspiring to play at the collegiate level. Cronkite News reporter Ryan Posesnik tells us the story behind the duo who started a club in Tempe.
Playing flag football is something that isn't new for ASU sophomore Sierra Smith.
Prior to attending ASU, Smith and her twin sister Sophia played together in high school.
I've been playing for 2 years at Hamilton High School, then we got to ASU. I was like, they don't have a team here, so why not start one?
That is when the idea came to mind to start a Sun Devil flag football club. 75 women ended up trying out, with 25 of them making the official roster. And with the help of Smith's sister Sophia, ASU now officially has a women's flag football club.
We're making that happen, you know, we're just paving the way for the youth, like future generations to come up and play flag football. It's been a challenge getting here.
During the 2023-24 season, nearly 43,000 girls participated in flag football at the high school level, which is a 105% increase from the previous year.
I'm glad that people are going to get the opportunity to do all of that now, and I'm so grateful for all the work that Sierra and Sophia put in to make this happen, because like this is like a dream come true.
While Sierra and Sophia Smith represent ASU on the front of their jersey, representing their family name on their backs has an even deeper meaning. For Susan and Sydney Smith, seeing their daughters pave the way for women's sports has been a proud parenting moment.
The beauty is this has never been about Sierra and Sophia. It's been about the future of a sport that's emerging and that needs to be an NCAA Division I sport.
There's been naysayers and doubters, and you can't do this, and you're never going to get this done. Not from us, but from others, and they did it. And to see that lift off their shoulders, we're so proud.
The Smith sisters' work has paid off as the team played their first official game on January 31st. And even though it was a loss against GCU, it felt more like a win for the team.
It's such a blessing. I'm so glad that I'm able to be a mentor and be an advocate for change and just continue to push this sport.
In its inaugural season, the Sun Devil team has experienced the challenges of creating a new club team. But with the two sisters' help, the team is hoping to thrive. In Tempe, Ryan Pesesnik, Cronkite News.
Spring training is underway for the Diamondbacks, but that's not the only thing on their agenda. The Diamondbacks reach an extension with shortstop Geraldo Perdomo on a 4-year, $45 million contract that ties him to the team through the 2030 season. The contract will go into effect in the 2026 season and includes a club option for the 2030 season. Perdomo is the Diamondbacks' primary shortstop when healthy and played a prominent role in them making the World Series back in the 2023 season, along with making his first All-Star team appearance that year. The extension comes as part of the D-backs' aggressive plan to stay competitive with other big spenders in the NOS like the Dodgers and the Padres. And staying on the diamond, the Sun Devils baseball team, after beating Austin Peay 5-3 on Monday, is now 4-0 on the year, an improvement from their 3-1 record to start last season. The Sun Devils erased an early 3-0 deficit after having difficulty scoring on Austin Peay pitcher Cody Arrington. But a home run by Isaiah Jackson in the bottom of the fifth would spark a scoring spree. With the bases loaded, they would score in multiple ways, from a walk, being hit by a pitch, and a 2 RBI single from Brandon Compton. Next up for the Devils is a 3-day series this weekend against Oral Roberts from Friday to Sunday. The Diamondbacks hosted a party for season ticket holders this past weekend. I went out to Chase Field to check out the Fan Festival. Fans enjoyed a variety of activities at the ballpark, from hands-on fun like wiffle ball, face painting, and cornhole to interactive opportunities like clubhouse tours. Additionally, there were photos with the World Series and NLCS trophies, as well as autograph sessions. But the most popular event was the stage show, as it gave fans the chance to hear from and talk to various players, along with head coach Torey Lovello and general manager Mike Hazen.
I think with the way the team's been playing the last few years and kind of the young core and the energy we have with our team right now, our fan base is as excited and motivated and happy as ever, and our players feed off that.
That's it for the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Renato Garcia, sending it back to you guys at the desk.
Coming up next, the city of New Haven had a unique visitor yesterday.
A baby seal was found wandering the streets. Find out why the seal was strolling through the streets, and spoiler alert, it wasn't for pizza, which New Haven is known for.
And water was really important to us. Without enough water, we can't farm, we can't eat, we can't live. And the way we're doing it right now, straight up doesn't have a future. I went to ASU because this is a place where you solve problems. With vertical farming, we can grow the same amount of food with 95% less water than traditional farming. The work I'm doing at ASU is changing the way I look at the world.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
New Haven, Connecticut is known for its pizza, and it attracts visitors from far and wide. So much so, a special visitor stopped by to check it out.
Yeah, New Haven police responded to reports of a baby seal just a few weeks old wandering the streets of New Haven. The little seal wandered quite far from its natural habitat, but volunteers from the Mystic Aquarium were able to rescue him and administer necessary first aid. And while it's funny to think the seal traveled to New Haven for some pizza, the real reason is most likely because it's seal season in the region. That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Max Williams.
And I'm Ripley Spohn-Kennebrew. Thank you for joining us. And to see top stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.